What's happening, you guys? Thanks for tuning in to the Drew Deeks channel today. All right, I'm going to say it. I'm going to keep this relatively short, relatively brief. It's recency bias, I know, but I do think that the Montreal Canadiens have to at least think about seriously offering Jonathan Drouin at least a one-year contract next season. And I'm going to tell you why. Very simply, if we can put up with another year of Mike Hoffman at $4.5 million, surely we can put up with Jonathan Drouin for another year at a much less higher cap hit than his $5.5 million he's getting right now. Now, is that a good enough reason to sign a player? Maybe not. Did Marty St. Louis finally get through to Jonathan Drouin and try to break whatever cycle it was mentally? I don't know. That is going to turn him into a superstar and he's just going to have a huge turnaround and become the French superstar that we all expect him to be when he got here? No, probably not. He's going to be 28 in a matter of days. But based on the way we've seen Jonathan Drouin play, he's a playmaker, but we also saw that finally, after Denis Gurianov's beautiful pass last night, Jonathan Drouin actually finished a scoring play, only his second goal of the season last night against the Tampa Bay Lightning, against his former team. A feel-good story after the big controversy of Marty St. Louis benching Jonathan Drouin, not only benching him, he wasn't upstairs in the rafters eating popcorn as a healthy scratch watching the game. No, he had his full equipment and gear on, had the jersey, had it all on, and sat in Tampa Bay the other night and watched his Montreal Canadiens play, did not play a single shift in the game. And what did Jonathan Drouin do? He took ownership of his mistake and acknowledged that it was all on him as to why he was late for the meeting and anything else that would have transpired before that led to Marty St. Louis ultimately deciding to bench him. So we don't know what else happened. It's all speculation other than the fact that he was late for one team meeting. But based on the way that Drouin has played. All right, well, let's talk about the numbers very, very quickly here. And if you guys want to rip me in the comments already, some of you are probably already typing why you think, no, Jonathan Drouin's done. Let's just move on. Okay, but I do think that next year is still a rebuilding year for the Canadiens. It's year 3 of the rebuild, the full rebuild under Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon. And I think it kind of makes sense. Now, to keep Drouin, if the money's right, Alan Walsh, make it work and don't. Anyway, I'm not gonna get into that. Okay, so 47 games played this season. Jonathan Drouin, 2 goals only, 25 assists in his last 22 games. He has 19 points altogether, 2 goals, and 19 assists in a span of 22 games. I don't know if that's the exact number perfectly, but in the last month and a half or so, Jonathan Drouin has obviously played a lot better. So 27 points in 47 games played so far this season. 14 penalty minutes, if you really want to talk about that. So like I said, if we can put up with another year of Mike Hoffman, who does just about one thing, and that is score goals periodically here and there, and is effective somewhat on the power play and without the puck, what else does Mike Hoffman do? I don't really know. But I have seen Jonathan Drouin back-checking a lot more than he used to. So I've seen, and he's played some center a lot lately, which is good to see him how he can do. He played on a line with Josh Anderson and Denis Gurianov last night. I hope that Josh gets well, by the way, sooner than later. But that being said, I've seen better defensive play from Jonathan Drouin, a little better details along the boards, even away from the puck. He's playing better overall. So if the money's right, if we can put up with another year of Mike Hoffman on his last year of his contract, I think Drouin could excel still with these players on this team, not just because of a hometown discount potentially, and not just because we should. I think that the positive energy that's been gone around the team despite this losing season has been contagious, and Drouin learned his lesson. He took it well in terms of this benching here, and maybe a message finally got through to him. I don't know. I just think it's worth considering bringing him back for at least one more season if the money's right. I don't think league minimum's ever going to happen. So for those of you that think he's just going to get league min and sign a 1-year deal 2-way with Laval, it's not going to happen. He's not a AHL player. I think that he's showing that maybe he can end his career on a high note. Maybe it won't be with the Canadiens, but I think if they can make it work for one more year under this rebuild, they might give him a chance then to go audition for other teams next season. I think we can afford to do it. Next year is not a year where we're going to be expecting to make the playoffs again anyway. I do expect us to compete for a wild card spot, but I do think Jonathan Drouin could potentially help the Habs still for at least one more season. If they don't, whatever. But I do think you have to think about it at this point based on the point production and the improved play and hopefully improved attitude continues for Jonathan Drouin. if they are to bring him back next season. Denis Gurianov, took me long enough to get to him. I think that $2.9 million qualifying offer is all but signed right now. And I think that assist he had on Jonathan Drouin's goal last night, the skate movement, the weaving in and out at the blue line and getting that puck over to Drouin, it was a beautiful play. We've seen Gurianov scoring more goals than anything else lately. 5 goals, 2 assists in just 12 games with the Habs so far. With Dallas, 43 games this season, 2 goals, 7 assists, 9 points in those 43 games. Gurianov has almost matched his point totals with the Dallas Stars with the Montreal Canadiens already. In just 12 games, he's got 7 points, and he had 9 in 43 with Dallas. So I'm telling you that the Marty St. Louis effect is real. Guys not only want to play for this guy, but they can play and they can get the best out of these players under Marty St. Louis. It's very, very clear. So this might be a momentary reaction, I guess. Maybe it's just a recency bias reaction, but I do think that both these players, Denis Gurianov and Jonathan Drouin, should be Montreal Canadiens next season. Definitely Gurianov. Drouin's a maybe. I think you guys are sold on Gurianov at this point. But based on what we've seen out of these guys, you got to consider it. And you got to consider it for Drouin, especially based on the way he's played. I think next season is the last season where it's going to be still another rebuilding season. But next year is the final season, I think, of where the expectations will be at subpar for the Habs at best. And then the year after that is when things get serious for the Habs rebuild in their 4th year under Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton. So that's my opinion. You guys let me know what you think down below. If you want to hear a full episode that I was on today, I was on live internet radio today with the awesome gentlemen, Paul and John from Habsolutely, 4680q.com. It's internet radio. You can check that show out that we just recorded today. It's about an hour long. And it was my first time being invited to a radio show locally here in Niagara, talking all Habs. It was a fun show. Thank you again to Paul and John for having me on. So if you guys want to check that out, please do. Also, this Saturday on SDPN, I will be appearing on the Game Over show with Andrew Berkshire or Mark Dumont, whoever the co-host is. But I'll be joining the post-game show on Game Over after the Habs Columbus game this Saturday. So just letting you guys know about that stuff. Thank you for watching, guys. Can't wait to hear your opinions down below. Be honest, be respectful, but tell me what you really think. Thanks, guys.